In addition to being one of England's most legendary players, Wayne Rooney is a highly successful man who knows how to enjoy the life he earned on the pitch. In today's video, you'll get to know Wayne Rooney's life story. Wayne Mark Rooney was born on October 24, 1985. In the Croxteth area of Liverpool, England, the son of Thomas Wayne Rooney and Jeanette Marie Morey. Of Irish descent through his father, Rooney grew up in a working-class household with his two younger brothers and, like so many kids in that part of Liverpool, grew up as a die-hard supporter of Everton. That devotion paid off. Rooney joined Everton's youth academy at just 9 years old, and his goal scoring at youth level was almost unbelievable, reportedly netting 99 goals in a single season for a local junior team before Everton snapped him up. By age 11, he was even serving as Everton's mascot for a match against bitter rivals Liverpool. The kid was destined for Goodison Park. He made his professional debut for Everton on August 17, 2002, coming on as a substitute against Tottenham Hotspur at just 16 years and 360 days old, making him the club's youngest ever first-team player at the time. But it was one moment, just 2 months later, that changed everything. On October 19, 2002, Rooney scored a stunning 25-yard strike in a 2-1 win over Arsenal, ending the Gunners' 30-match unbeaten run and instantly becoming the youngest goalscorer in Premier League history. Arsene Wenger himself called him the biggest English talent he'd seen since arriving in the country. Not bad for a teenager. Rooney spent 2 seasons with Everton, scoring 17 goals in 77 appearances across all competitions before the transfer speculation became too loud to ignore. In August 2004, Manchester United paid £25.6 million, a world record fee at the time for a player under 20, to bring Rooney to Old Trafford. He made his United debut on September 28, 2004, in the Champions League against Fenerbahce and scored a hat-trick on his very first appearance. Talk about an entrance! What followed was one of the most decorated careers in English football history. Over 13 seasons at Manchester United, Rooney won 16 major trophies, including 5 Premier League titles, the UEFA Champions League 2008, the FIFA Club World Cup, the UEFA Europa League, 1 FA Cup, and 4 League Cups, making him, alongside teammate Michael Carrick, one of only 2 English players to win every one of those competitions. Individually, he claimed the PFA Players Player of the Year and FWA Footballer of the Year awards for the 2009-10 season, and was named the Premier League Player of the Month 5 separate times. Some moments became iconic on their own, none more so than his spectacular overhead kick volley against Manchester City on February 12, 2011, still widely regarded as one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. On January 21, 2017, Rooney scored his 250th goal for Manchester United, surpassing Sir Bobby Charlton to become the club's all-time leading goalscorer, a record he'd extend to a final total of 253 goals in 559 appearances. On the international stage, Rooney became England's youngest ever goalscorer in September 2003, at 17 years and 317 days old, and went on to represent his country at 3 World Cups, 2006, 2010, 2014, and 3 European Championships. He surpassed Sir Bobby Charlton's long-standing England scoring record in September 2015 and finished his international career with 53 goals in 120 caps, a record that stood until Harry Kane broke it in 2023, while also becoming England's most capped outfield player ever. After 13 trophy-laden years at United, Rooney returned to his boyhood club Everton for the 2017-18 season on a free transfer, finishing as the team's top scorer that campaign. He then crossed the Atlantic to join DC United in Major League Soccer in 2018, before returning to England once more, this time as a player-manager for Derby County in January 2020, eventually retiring as a player in 2021 to focus fully on coaching. From a scrappy kid from Croxteth scoring 99 goals a season on Liverpool's estates to becoming Manchester United's all-time top scorer and England's record goalscorer, Wayne Rooney's journey is the stuff of English football folklore. A lot of people wonder where football's biggest legends lay their head at night, and Wayne Rooney's real estate journey tells a story that goes from a Liverpool council estate to a sprawling Cheshire countryside estate. Let's start from the beginning. In his early days as a young star at Everton and then Manchester United, Rooney and his childhood sweetheart Colleen bought their first home together in Formby, a leafy suburb on the outskirts of Liverpool popular with well-heeled professionals. The modern mansion was reportedly purchased for around £1.3 million in the early 2000s, a solid first step for a teenager who'd grown up in council housing in Croxteth. By 2005, with his Manchester United career taking off, Rooney and Colleen made their big move to Prestbury, Cheshire, an affluent area known as the Golden Triangle, home to fellow footballers past and present, including David and Victoria Beckham, Rio Ferdinand, and Cristiano Ronaldo. The six-bedroom mansion, valued at up to £6 to £7.5 million, became their base for well over 15 years, featuring 6 ensuite bedrooms, an indoor swimming pool, a home cinema, a triple garage, and even a golf simulator. It wasn't all smooth sailing, though. The property was broken into in 2016 while Colleen was away with the kids, an incident that would shape the family's approach to security for years to come. The Rooneys also went international, purchasing a beachfront villa in Sandy Lane, Barbados, within the exclusive gated Royal Westmoreland estate, reportedly acquired for around £5 million, though reported purchase dates vary between sources. Pool and private beach access, and the family has occasionally rented it out to the public for around £25,000 a week when not in use. Then came the crown jewel. In 2017, the Rooneys purchased land in Marthal, near Knutsford, Cheshire, around 50 acres of old farmland, for a reported £4 million, with plans to build a custom family estate from the ground up. That project became High Lake Manor, a mansion reportedly costing around £20 million in total once construction and fit-out were complete, though the family didn't fully move in until the end to pandemic-related delays. The estate reportedly includes 6 bedrooms, stables for 14 horses, an underground spa, a snooker room, a home cinema, and, after the earlier break-in scare, a dedicated panic room. The family finally sold their old Prestbury home in 2022, reportedly for around £3.7 million, closing the book on that chapter for good. From a £1.3 million starter home in Formby to a £20 million custom-built countryside estate, Wayne Rooney's property portfolio tells the story of a footballer who built something lasting, brick by brick. Wayne Rooney's journey on 4 wheels is a classic footballer's story, starting humble, then escalating into a serious collection of British and European luxury once the big contracts started rolling in. It all began modestly. Back in his early Everton days, Rooney was famously spotted rolling up in a £12,000 Ford Ka, about as far from supercar territory as it gets. A reminder that even future legends start somewhere simple. Once he settled in at Manchester United, though, the garage transformed completely. Rooney developed a well-documented love for Land Rover, owning multiple Overfinch customized Range Rovers over the years, including a black Overfinch Range Rover Sport and a white Yulong finish model, both fitted with bespoke exterior and interior touches from the British customization house he favored throughout his career. One particularly personalized Range Rover, featuring the number 10 on its doors, was even put up for auction in 2018, though it reportedly failed to sell, even at a quarter of its original price. True to his British roots, Rooney also became known for his Bentley Continental GT, a bright orange model reportedly worth around £175,000 to £250,000, powered by a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 producing roughly 500 horsepower, capable of 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds and a top speed near 200 miles per hour. He was famously photographed arriving at Manchester United's Carrington training ground in it, sparking plenty of "you've been tangoed" jokes from teammates given its striking color. Rooney's collection also included a black Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, which made headlines for reasons beyond just its looks. Rooney reportedly lent the car to former teammate Carlos Tevez for 10 days after Tevez arrived at the club without a proper car of his own. Rooney eventually sold the Gallardo years later, with the vehicle going up for sale at UK listing sites for close to £70,000. Rounding out the collection was an Aston Martin Vanquish S, notably the same model driven by Pierce Brosnan's James Bond in Die Another Day, along with an Audi RS6 Avant, a BMW i8, and a Mercedes-Benz CL63 Coupe, the latter received as part of a 2-year ambassadorship deal with Mercedes-Benz. The BMW i8, however, didn't stick around forever. Rooney reportedly sold it after receiving a driving ban. From a £12,000 Ford Ka to a fleet of Bentleys, Range Rovers, and a bond-worthy Aston Martin, Wayne Rooney's garage tells the story of a kid from Croxteth who never forgot where he started, even as his collection grew into one of the most talked about in English football. But cars are just a fraction of the bigger picture. Stay right there, because in the next section, we're breaking down the full scope of Wayne Rooney's fortune. Everything we've covered, the £20 million Cheshire estate, the fleet of Bentleys and Range Rovers, the £5 million Barbados villa, all traces back to one of the most lucrative careers in English football history. So just how much did Wayne Rooney actually earn? Let's start with the contracts, because that's where the bulk of his wealth was built. At the peak of his powers at Manchester United, Rooney was reportedly earning a basic wage of £250,000 a week, rising to around £300,000 a week once the value of his commercial rights was factored in, making him, at various points, the highest paid player in the Premier League. That contract ran through to 2019. But Rooney walked away from tens of millions in guaranteed money to take a pay cut and rejoin his boyhood club Everton in 2017, where he still commanded a reported £150,000 a week. After Everton, Rooney crossed the Atlantic to join DC United in Major League Soccer as a designated player, reportedly earning in the region of £2.6 to £7 million a year depending on the source and season, before finishing his career back in England as player-manager of Derby County. Taken together, estimates suggest Rooney's total gross playing earnings across Everton, Manchester United, DC United, and Derby comfortably exceeded £150 million over the course of his career. Football was only part of the story. Rooney's commercial appeal made him one of the most marketable British athletes of his generation. His signature deal was with Nike, a long-running boot sponsorship reportedly worth around £1 to £1.5 million per year at its peak. He also became one of the defining faces of the EA Sports FIFA franchise, appearing on the UK cover of the game for 7 consecutive editions, from FIFA 06 through FIFA 12. In 2006, while still in his early 20s, he signed an unusually large 5-book publishing deal with HarperCollins, reportedly including a £5 million advance plus royalties. His endorsement portfolio also included Coca-Cola, Samsung, Nokia, and Ford at various points throughout his career, though it's worth noting exact figures for these deals vary depending on the source, since footballer endorsement values are rarely disclosed officially. According to a 2012 France Football survey of the world's best-paid players, Rooney's salary combined with his endorsements pushed his annual earnings to around £17 million, ranking him 5th in the world and 1st in England that year. As for his overall net worth, estimates vary by source and year, but most trackers, including Celebrity Net Worth, place it somewhere in the region of £150 to £170 million, roughly $190 to $220 million as of recent years, once you factor in his career-playing earnings, endorsements, and property holdings. It's a figure that reflects one of the most complete and enduring commercial careers English football has ever produced. From a scholar earning £75 a week in Everton to a fortune worth well over £150 million, Wayne Rooney's journey off the pitch mirrors everything he achieved on it. Relentless, record-breaking, and built to last.
Hey, you like the video? So don't forget about leave your like and comment, and tell some suggestions of another videos, and hopefully we gonna do it. All about channel, deals to satisfy your curiosity.